We still continue to move Manchester forward. We prioritized public safety, made investments in affordable housing, and returned our students safely to classrooms and fostered economic growth. Tonight isn't about me. It's about what we can achieve when we work together. It's about recognizing what we can accomplish as a community when we focus on lifting up our residents and making our city a better place. But I have to take a moment and say how fortunate I feel to serve as mayor of the city of Manchester. It's the best job in the world.
Yeah!
Thank you. This is the community I was born and raised in, my hometown, the community that I chose to raise my family in, and I am grateful that I get to go to work every day to work with our community and all of you to make our city better. So again, thank you so much for all of your support. I look forward to working with you. We've made a lot of progress, but there's still a lot of work to be done. So tonight, I look forward to having fun with you, but tomorrow we're back to work.
Thank you!
Hi, and welcome to Ward 13. Brendan, why is the, we're not supposed to look at the screen. It's all like...
Looks fine to me.
What did I drink bad? I did. Bill Barry bought me a margarita at Joyce Craig's victory party. Hey, we have a new, what would we call you?
You can call me Harold.
We have Kyle. Kyle Clayton.
Hello, Jonathan, Michael.
No, I'm not Jonathan. My brother's name is Guy because that's an old, Anglo-Norman name. So he decided, my father, who named us all, named my sister after himself because he was Claude. So she's Claudia.
Oh, okay.
But Guy, so he says, oh, I'll name you John, Jon. And I'm the only John. The only other John in the world was John Voight.
Also, Andrew.
Now they have. And Andy Sylvia.
Hello.
Why don't we go with you, Andy? Did you see the guy wandering around the polls yesterday? Andy Sylvia of Manchester Inc.
I did not. I barely missed him several times. We did get some video of him. It's on Inklink today. Apparently, his name is. I wrote it down in the article. I'll look it up for you. But yeah, he. It seems like he goes around to a lot of polling places and police stations, like trying to apparently audit stuff or something. He was just at some point I was told he was shouting at folks.
Oh, is he on the corruption?
Was he?
Yeah, something Joa, I think it was.
Yeah,
Joa Orga.
Okay, we don't need to know
Yeah.
the names.
Yeah.
We just know that
well, they go around and they see people getting pulled over and they get involved.
Oh, so it's the Free State Project because Carla Garricky, who was a close ally of Victoria Sullivan.
I'm not sure of that, but I know the video. He was just following around a police officer and taking video of him.
Oh yeah, it's
wildly entertaining.
I wish I had time to do that.
But the point is to trigger them, get them to react, and then you sue.
Yep.
Or you get views.
No, it's practically just sue. But why don't you lead off? Tell her, Joyce Craig won re-election.
That's correct.
June Triciani is the rock star of Manchester, New Hampshire.
She was the big story yesterday.
Shocked the world.
Yeah.
She worked harder. Let's go. Yeah, and then we'll have a four shot. But June was great, and I wrote an article. Well, who's June Triciani?
She's easy on the ice.
She's
and at Ward 10 yesterday, she was giving you crap for that. I was there.
And you were
I had
eating
my chili. Yeah, Heidi Hamer gave me chili. She was like, "Why don't you have some chili, Andy?" It's like,
oh yeah, okay. Contentedly.
all right. I mean, I
didn't have to.
Can't say no.
The perks of being a.
Well,
you
there was everybody.
So,
I mean, if you went to Ward 10, you would have got some chili. If you
I was doing other stuff. Yeah.
Okay, next time around, you got to go to
Did
Ward
you
10.
vote?
Of course I voted. Ward 3.
June
Ward 3.
Triciani, right? I,
Rock
at the
star.
last second, decided to bullet her name in, just her. I don't know why. It all came to fruition. I was in there. I was gonna vote for Goonan, and I was gonna vote for
June.
O'Neill.
Oh, O'Neill.
And
Yeah, because you said
out
you
of
were gonna vote for
nowhere,
Danny.
I just said, I like this. I like what she's done, and I'm
You
gonna
plugged
give
her
her
in?
the only vote I'm gonna give. And I'd like to think that
So
a
you-
lot of other people late in the game did that.
You were not a
You have
Goonie
to
anymore.
assume.
I call them Goonies. That's what people vote for. Goonie.
I'm shocked he didn't win, to be honest.
Well, he came within 90 votes of getting rid of Lavasser. So I'd say he's a big winner because Mike Lopez, who was an alderman at large, is off in the show. He didn't win the first time. 1997, Danny O'Neill was elected to the newly created office of alderman at large, and Rich Girard got elected. And Mike came in a close third. Then Rich stepped down to run against Bob Baines and got crushed. and then Mike got elected, and then Mike did at least from 1999 to 2011, 12 years, 6 terms, and he became the chairman of the board after only his first term because Dave Wibby had lost. Then they tried Billy Shea, and then he was for at least 8, if not 10 years. And then Joe Lavasser knocked him off, which everybody was shocked that Mike, because everybody knew Mike. Mike's Mr. Veteran. He was head of like the postal union, and some people said, well, he's always going knocking on people's doors. Was a mailman,
Yep.
and he knew all the mailmen. And only 4 people have been alderman at large: O'Neill, Rich, Lavasser, and Mike Lopez. And now June Triciani, first woman to be it.
Just kicking doors down. She's not knocking anymore.
She
And
had
this board has more women than any other time in history.
5 when you include Joyce. Yeah, and which is to me it's like it's long overdue. But June, she's going to really revolutionize the board. What do you guys think?
I think she's easy on the eyes, too.
Well,
I don't think that's relevant, but
it is when you're on Ward
my
13.
opinion.
okay, that's fine.
I think it doesn't hurt to
be cute?
Like captivating.
So
that's
that's why I
polarizing.
lost.
I think
That's why I lost.
I think it's a big picture. I think that's what Bill Clinton had going for him. I think-
Okay.
You're
I
exact.
think-
He's exactly
So
right.
think-
personable.
Yeah.
Okay.
She
all right.
has a star quality.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people. She's the first crush I've had on a female any politician since Kelly Ayotte.
That's not relevant.
Oh man, Kelly Ayotte.
Yeah, she was a
I just wanted. She's like 6 feet tall. I just wanted to jump up into her arms because I used to have to. I had to buy a pole to put the camera up, so she's not looking down.
That's
at
why I
me.
was a Goonie.
Goonie's handsome. Very handsome guy.
That's how he got me.
I mean, they're all good looking if you really want to break it down.
Oh, Danny O'Neill.
I guess that's a
yeah,
requirement for
you're a
being
chubby chaser.
Well,
huh?
no, he's classically handsome.
Have you ever Danny O'Neill hugged me?
Guy next
It was like
door.
a bear. I thought I was going to split in 2.
I've heard good things about these
Peter White's
hugs.
bit.
What about Peter?
The
White?
hug is Peter's bit.
I've heard good things about the hugs.
Pat O'Neill, his
so-
brother, is a great hugger too.
Oh yeah, Pat.
Well,
was-
it's a family thing,
Like you can't
Genetics.
run into.
you can't win in Manchester, New Hampshire, really, except for
without
Lavasser,
hugging.
who's a different. You have to have like an extensive family helps, but that's true in all places with politics. And like June, I wrote an article, and then Gary Hamer and Heidi says she's wonderful. We've known each other since kindergarten. I was the best man at the wedding. I'm the Ed Sapienza of Mike and Joyce Craig.
Oh, man.
To them, Yeah, Mike was the best man at their wedding.
Triciani is a Manchester name. That is
oh yeah,
Yeah.
very
all the
deep-rooted
coaching.
name. Yeah,
Coaching helps.
Is it Greek or I'm wondering?
Italian?
Italian?
it's just football.
One of the few. And but she is when you say Bill Clinton. When you would go and cover Bill Clinton, everybody'd look at him like his rock star, male and female. I remember he came to endorse
Just charisma, basically.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it
Ronald
has a lot to
Reagan
do
had
with
that
politics.
too.
That's true.
They have something they project like the life force that part sexual but more just love to be. They really have the electricity.
Yeah,
and she's got it.
Our current
Stop.
boss has
Well, he
it. The
Who's your current boss?
the mayor has that quality, I would say. Also, I hate to say it, but Gatz has had a certain thing about him where you're kind of like gravitated to his whatever it is. People stare at him.
I feel like Gatz
'cause
has
the
had
way
the
he's having
most
a
signs
star
per
quality.
yard. Signs per yard.
Gatsis or?
Gatz's, yeah. Back in the day, it was every other yard had a Gatz's sign
With the check mark.
with the check mark.
Oh,
yeah.
geez, yeah.
So
Re-elect.
he pumped it out. He pumped it out. What are you gonna do?
Something about re-elect makes people re-elect.
Oh, he already voted for himself. He checked it off right on the sign. What are you gonna do? He already voted for you.
Yeah. Close second was the Charlie Bass signs. I know when I was in college, everybody stole those because oh yeah, bass guitar.
Congress. That's second congressional.
I know, but yeah, I saw them around here back
yeah.
in the day. Yeah,
Well,
it
he's
was just
you know?
orange and blue. It was Bass.
I still have my Dick
Bates.
Sweat sign.
Well, that Howard Stern.
What a name.
What a name.
His wife is
Working hard.
His wife's one of the loveliest people.
Mrs. Sweat.
Her
Ms.
father
Been to her
was
house.
my congressman when I was out in California. Yeah, Lantos.
Great
He was
name.
a Holocaust survivor, close friend of Joe Biden. Isn't that exciting? Huh? And but I want to
Holocaust?
say, I think Dan Goonan was a big winner because he came close to getting rid of that plague, Joe Kelly
when
LaValle.
He's
you
got his foot in the
win-
door though. He's
Yeah,
getting his
I don't
feet
think
wet, you know?
I don't think losing's winning.
Yes, it is.
When you win, you're the winner. And when you lose by 90 votes, you're the
Yeah, it's-
not
No,
winner.
that's winning because people, like I said, Mike Lopez lost.
So
people
what, that
wrong.
$1 get 'em a
It's
book pass.
there's expectations though. I think any four of them could have won yesterday. So the fact that he didn't win, he didn't beat expectations.
Nobody thought Jim
Why do you
Christiani
think-
would get all the votes.
Why do you think?
I don't think she'd be first place, but I think
No.
she had a shot at being second.
A shot.
Yeah, she had. Any of them had a shot of getting in.
Yeah, of
I
course.
think.
She had the big.
I think the big
mo.
surprise was getting shoes first.
Yeah,
Yeah,
huge.
that was a huge surprise.
She's in.
She had what they call the big momentum.
Yeah.
And it peaked right at that time. She came in third in the primary,
Yep.
but she worked her ass off.
Oh yeah.
It's just like I can't tell you
yeah.
what
Legendary.
made me do that last second choice, but it's like I just.
Well, you said she was
something-
cute.
No, I didn't even see her picture at the time.
Maybe
I did-
you lost your
Listen,
lost Dan. Goonan
There was
lost your
something
luster.
about her. She
Lost
went
his
on the
luster.
She went on the weekly Dion. I heard her there. I heard her go on the morning show. I like
She
people
gave
who get out
ECG a
there.
ride to the polls.
That's huge.
Jeez,
These are
I should have
things.
called her.
When it
That's-
comes down, when Ward 7 comes down to 9 votes, these things come in
Oh, yeah,
handy.
they're
when you-
huge.
You gotta get that.
We'll get to the Ross Terrier in a bit.
just
But no, I think Dan Goonan will be the next alderman at large. I think Joe Lavasser's done.
know,
This is
again-
his last term.
Goonies
You
just
think?
got his foot in the door, and
Right.
it's like, and I like his platform. Like he wasn't. He was doing it all by himself. It was just him and his family.
It was him and his family.
Yeah.
Can we show the picture of Dan and Ginger? Because his sister Ginger was at Ward 10 for much. And then,
I have a picture of him.
what does it say? Dan? Does it say Dan?
I'll draw one real quick.
Yeah, well, cue one up, please.
How many
Gonzo.
pictures did you get?
3.
Oh my! It was supposedly 10, but we'll remedy that. I'll cut them in on the.
I'll describe
on-
them.
And with Terrio, it was 9 votes, not 7.
right.
Yeah.
But
Didn't
Ward
I?
7. He's
It was
Ward 7.
Yeah, it was 9 votes. He lost by 9
Right,
votes.
and he said,
Oh,
I talked to
man.
him just before the show, he'll probably ask for a recount.
that makes sense.
I would.
But,
Yeah, it's close enough.
9? Yeah, 9.
yeah, but the machines are so accurate.
I thought, yeah. I
I
thought
went
for
s-
sure he would win. Otherwise, I wouldn't have talked so much smack about his opponent.
That's all
Mary Heath?
I was just kidding.
Oh, okay.
You know, I don't. I like to pretend I know what I'm talking about, but I
Oh,
also
okay,
like to be
alright.
funny. But apparently,
Jeez, I thought you were
some
fooling us.
No,
all.
no,
but
no.
some viewers really took liberty to it and actually called the morning show and said I needed to wash my hands and be nice to people.
You didn't say anything about Mary Heath on my show.
No, never.
Right.
That's what I'm
Never.
saying. I didn't. I was
John,
just-
never.
I was saying I'm gonna vote for Ross, even though I'm not even in his ward. That was just the joke. That's all.
But
I
you should
think-
wash your hands. So.
I think most people thought Dan Goonan is a Republican. No, but people know that he's a Republican because his father, his family, Republicans. I won't go and like Chris Messier, who is the ward moderator in 10, and he was when you came there. His family has been Republican since the 1850s, since Republican, and his mother Irene was well loved. You'd vote for her. It was New Hampshire. You'd vote for a Republican or a Democrat because people were moderate. People worked together, and we were proud to have her. But she got increasingly out of line with the party. And there was just one of those shifts. Those swing
Yeah,
elections,
turning the tides,
and
yeah.
she lost after like 30 years. And Chris, we said, well, why don't you become a Democrat and you run for it? But he doesn't want to be a state rep. And I think Dan Goonan is the same thing. But our sources say that the Republicans sent him a check and then took it back. And they did nothing to promote him. They like virtually read him out of the party. And
They only
if he-
endorsed Levasseur. They didn't endorse
yeah,
him.
if he was a Democrat, he would have won, I think, or even an independent. But the thing is, it's his first campaign. June is amazing that she won in her first campaign. Like Danny O'Neill had been the alderman. Was it from Ward 3 or Ward 4? I think he lives in Ward 2 now. And he was like 4 terms then. And he lost one of those squeakers by 3 votes.
Yeah, that's what every
Pat
vote
Long
counts.
lost by like 4
Don't
votes.
you
Yeah, back to
think,
Tim Baines, yeah.
Don't you think O'Neill
'Cause Tim
could have
worked
done
his
a
ass.
little more getting out there than he did?
No,
You think he did?
fine.
You think he played it perfectly, Andy? You think
In terms of...
O'Neill not doing what June did? And
oh, yeah, it's there's no contest that June worked harder than any of the other ones,
Any
for
of
sure.
them, yeah.
Yeah.
She was
no
on. She
contest.
was on the morning show.
It's almost
at
like
the
when you
least
do
twice.
it forever,
At least twice.
you're almost
And that is
you're almost
strenuous
resided
labor.
to
You
the fact that
expect
you
it.
might,
And-
or you're okay with stepping down. Maybe he's okay with stepping down.
I wouldn't
and-
say that, but I think Dan definitely campaigned, but I don't think it's anything against Dan, but it's a plus for June. All the credit goes to June. It's nothing against any of the other candidates.
But see, you said on the show last week you were going to vote for Dan O'Neill.
June, I'm proud of you. Look at me, June. I'm proud of you.
June, can you look at me, June?
You
I'm
said you
proud
were
of
going to
you.
bring her on the show, Kyle. That's why.
I don't have that.
Proud of you,
I
June.
thought I had more pull than I did.
Yeah.
She's busy celebrating right now. You know.
So
She's busy, probably sleeping.
I
Would even
would.
get his uncle John Clayton to return
Do
his.
you want
calls.
Uncle John right now?
He
Don't
didn't
look
even
at
know
me.
his number.
No, I don't have his number.
I don't. No bitchiness. Victoria Sullivan's been defeated. We're going back to normal.
Do you think
we're fine.
Victoria had enough charisma there?
I
Was
think-
that her major problem, that she didn't have enough of that, or was there anything else?
I'm proud of her too.
Yeah, she was very nice.
This is my
can.
opinion. It's my opinion.
Yeah, you can have your own
It's
opinion.
not of Manchester Public TV says. I think she's schizoid. She seems so nice, but she's a real bitch. Rich Gerard had her number.
Another
I mean,
look at
Rich Gerard called her a liar. I don't see anything that would refute that.
I can't agree with your statements there,
Why?
but that's
Be-
just
you're-
that's my experience.
You don't like confrontation.
I am neutral. I'm a journalist.
Yeah, you
I
have
told you
to
this
do.
in the
I'm
past. This is my
always
job.
I was always a columnist
Oh, okay.
at Yahoo.
All right.
Get that dead stare in it.
Well, with a column, you can let it rip.
The thing about Victoria Sullivan is her concession speech almost cued us in that she's running again. The
She's
way she
not.
said
She's
we made up ground this time. We're getting there.
Well,
Is the message.
Well,
I
the
got.
thing is, if she did run again in 2023, she'd have to say to folks like, why should we support you again? You've already won twice and you haven't won. What's going to be different this time? That's what she'd have to. That's the case she'd have to make, and it's a good question. I don't know what she could do.
Victoria Sullivan ran the most vicious campaign in Manchester history. I was there with Gatsis. Gatsis sued me and Bill Cashin. He fought hard. Ted was a street fighter, and I respected that. Ted and I, I'll tell you a story. 2015 at Parker Varney, they had a televised debate between Ted and Joyce. And they just found out at the VA, or PTSD. You can ask Matt Conant about that, or Peter White.
I can ask both of them.
They opened this door of hell.
Or me.
So I walk down, I go to give a speech at the Board of Aldermen. I'm calling him a liar and everything, because he said Joyce Craig is going to give us a city income tax, which is impossible. Only one city in the United States has an income tax, New York, which the state of New York allowed because it was bankrupt. So we're sitting in Parker Varney, which I was the first class, 1971, and we're doing this. And we're mouthing to each other, and we're snarling at each other, because we're off camera, and Joyce is on camera. Afterwards, we went to, I think, the Rayfield Club, and she said to my godson,
Oh, you went to
Jeff
Rafe?
Hamer, the Hamer's son, oh my God, here I am, I'm on camera. It's WMUR. And those two, I thought they were going to have a fist fight right there. But Ted fought very hard. It's like a Keith Hirschman. He fights hard, but he doesn't get into the sadism of Levasseur or Gerard. But it's the dirtiest campaign I've ever seen. It was vicious.
I think it was Joe Kelly Levasseur that was the vicious one. I mean, look at the sign. The sign says "paid for by Joe Kelly Levasseur" right on it. He was the spokesman. He was the henchman. She was just the person.
This is just such utter garbage.
It is. It's crap. And
we are. You look at the Wall Street Journal. What rated us the 9th best place to live.
Safest Safest.
Yeah, and U.S. News World Report, like 11th place to
How
live.
about Joyce's
safest.
poise? You gotta give her credit for that. Not taking
Look
the
at those
bait.
shoulders. Those aren't pads.
Those are shoulder pads. Suits
No.
she wears.
Hey, no disrespect to the mayor,
not.
or I'll bounce you out.
Yeah,
of
get
here.
out of here.
Listen, buddy.
Your mustache. Get out of here.
Hold on.
Sure, you know.
Yeah, hi, Joyce.
Hey, why don't you show the picture that Joyce Craig took of you?
It doesn't matter. It's my
Oh.
personal.
It kind of matters.
Here's the deal.
She's
for
a real
her,
person.
for her not to take the bait, and that's what Victoria wanted. That's what she wanted. She wanted to get her to
Victoria Sullivan.
and then she
was-
can be like, now look at her. You know, this is chaos.
I don't like, because as a man who lives downtown for years, I live right next to the YMCA. I've never had.
Oh, we have a theme song for you now.
Oh, you do?
We used to use it,
Is it the
me and
Village
Matt
People?
Connerton for Stinky Gerard.
Well, now I gotta share it.
Okay.
Okay.
You live downtown.
I've never, like, I know where not to go. There's certain times and places you shouldn't go anywhere in any
it's a city.
city.
2 a.m. on Manchester
But
Street.
it's a beautiful, beautiful city. I
it's-
don't have
it's
problems.
coming
I'm the
back.
problem, if anything. Like, are you scared of me? A little bit.
No.
No. Okay. Then you're
You're very
fine.
non-threatening.
Yeah. Exactly. Not threatening.
The problem is Manchester. You can have whoever in charge. The guy at the biscuit place is still gonna shoot the guy at the biscuit place, no matter who's
Well,
the
no,
mayor.
no, that's a different.
No,
That's something-
no mayor.
Yeah, that's
can
my-
stop
that's on
that
my
from
street.
But that's the stuff they were using in the chaos has. They can't control
Which
an argument.
the Republican, the GOP, the National GOP, pumped $82,000 into her campaign.
And the response on that, by the way, the cop's response on that shooting at the chicken place was within 5 seconds. It was ridiculous.
What was Victoria Sullivan's public safety plan? To have armed vigilantes? Because she's against taxes. You know, let's get. She's anti-police.
You can't really knock
That
her either.
patrolman's letter that was published
Yep.
in the England. Why don't you tell them about the letter?
Yeah, we got that a few days before the election. They were upset that Sullivan didn't coordinate with them more. I think they also said that she didn't reach out to them.
Because Rich Gerard and Joyce did.
Yeah.
You know, whatever, I've criticized Rich Gerard very heavily, but he's a professional. But, you know, here's the thing. 9:30 I left, Joyce is saying. She hadn't had a concession email or call from Victoria Sullivan. Now, I wrote over 50 articles in about 10 days. Thank you, Rosanna McMahon, my muse. And
I'm curious, have you met Rosanna McMahon?
that's personal.
Oh.
Oh, is that? Who?
Oh yeah.
Shut your mouth.
Oh, yeah.
But,
You seem a
hey,
little light.
I get to edit
You
this.
seem a little lighter in your loafers today.
Light in the loafers means something else.
Yeah, I
though.
know. I know what I meant.
Always that. He needs his own show, you know.
No, he doesn't. He needs less
It's
time.
like the hippo, you know. It's good. It's okay to be a princess now.
One day I'll be in the hippo.
You haven't been in the Hippo?
Not the cover.
Oh, the cover. Okay.
I was
You've been
supposed to
in
write a story about Peter White, but then I had some depression or whatever, so I never got around to it.
Okay.
But
You're depressed. He makes me depressed too. I get it.
I
Yeah,
go
you-
back to my house and I write an article that Victoria Sullivan hasn't even conceded, and then I'm on Twitter later. Oh, one of her paid people from Beyond, is it Biondo? How do you pronounce her?
Mike Biondo?
Yeah, that group. Oh, why doesn't she check her phone? And, I write the article and suddenly I guess she's sending the thing. But remember with Rich Gerard, I never got your emails about a debate. Rich Gerard's got bigger mouth than I do in some ways. Only Jim O'Connell can out-talk me. But is saying, he says he wants a debate. Didn't Rich Gerard, the Inkling, he won the debate with both Joyce and Victoria Sullivan.
That's correct. It was. I couldn't get them all in the same place.
Right.
I don't know if I'm going to do any debates at all next time with any
Well,
of the
you
races.
did
It's hard. Thank you. It's all so much juggling of the schedules. Plus, some of them wanted to be here and some of them didn't, and it's just
COVID totally.
yeah.
changed.
Well,
COVID
Victoria
changed things.
Sullivan
and
is
then
not
and then
vaccinated.
having to have it here is like not only do you have to have the schedules of the candidates, but also the schedules of the public access too. So it's another variable in there.
City Hall should have like a press room, but that's a different thing. But
It's a great point, actually.
yeah,
They should.
It's like we live in a city where people don't
I
know
agree.
anything about media.
I don't. I'm on the radio. I know nothing about media.
Well, you're
I'm,
Peter White now.
I know. I still don't know. I'm on TV too, apparently.
Okay, Andy Sylvia, we covered. Tell us some more. What stood out besides June winning?
No, the fact that the left got so they won by so much there.
What do you mean the left?
Well, I try not to use the word Democrats and Republicans since it is nonpartisan.
It is.
Even though
The Democrats
Isn't
are
that
a
funny?
center-right party.
well, I mean, left and right in terms of Manchester politics.
It's crazy how they say nonpartisan.
Yeah, it's really actually partisan, but it's officially nonpartisan.
And
Yeah,
people
yeah,
come up,
it's,
"Are you
it's
a Democrat?"
You
frustrating.
could have two Republicans run against each
You
other.
could.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
you
two
could.
top
I
voters,
just like
yeah.
to party. I don't have a party. I just like to party.
So
did have
maybe
two
I could say pro mayor. The pro mayor side won by a lot up and down. She's going to have 11 out of the 14 slots now.
2 Democrats did run for an office in Ward 2.
Yeah, and the Bosk seat there.
And Sean Parr won.
Yep, Sean Parr won.
How much did he win by?
Oh, let's check. Let me
He's got
scroll up
the numbers.
thing. I got the computer
Yeah,
right here.
he's
with
got it
all
queued
the
up.
things, got it all queued up.
Kathy Kelly
That was 907 for Sean Parr and 881 for Kathleen Kelly Arnold. So it was close.
And Kathy was on the school board for many years before, and then she came back after there was
I know their
a-
supporters sent us like a dozen letters to the editor over the
Oh,
last
yeah.
week there.
Oh, the Kelly
Yeah.
family.
That
It's
was-
once again a family.
and they're
Which
both
is
they're both
interchanged
qualified. They're both
with me.
great too. Yeah.
The Claytons are associated with the
Oh wow,
That's
we
right.
know
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Why do you think you're on the
Related.
show, buddy?
my face.
Yeah. So
He's got an actor's face.
So
he's cute.
Jesus
yeah.
Christ, you and the
Did-
homoeroticism
did-
drive me crazy.
so did you think that they'd get 11 seats on the aldermanic board?
I
I mean that's that's about as high as anyone could expect. I'd think.
But you know, Democrats like Barbara Shaw have to want to be reelected, so they're not going to bust the tax cap.
That's a good point. I know Tony Sapienza and Shaw have been kind of
They
buffers.
think about it a
So
lot.
I think the problem now will be though it's going to be kind of like Joe Manchin in Washington. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more attempts to get bonds through now that they're
I
close
concur.
to
Exactly.
that
Well, that's-
magical 10 number. So if either Sapienza or Shaw don't do it, everyone on the left is going to say, "Well, why are you trying to sabotage the mayor's?"
But see, you're talking
plan?
about Bill Berry's not of the left. You know, he's just a people here are very
or
moderate.
pro mayor or whatever
Yeah.
whatever block you want to call it.
He's just
well,
a nice
call
guy.
it Democrat.
Okay, I mean it's quite quasi accurate. I mean they were at the Democrats' party last night.
But the
there.
Democrats are a broad, party. They're very conservative people, and they have to get reelected. Like Bill Berry's no lefty. Believe me, I'd call myself a Bolshevik. But I grew up in Manchester, so I know the working class isn't going to revolt. So
I wouldn't use that term just because there's 4 new alderwomen in the.
aldermen.
I wouldn't call them broads.
No, we don't use that word. We use dames.
You
which
just
is
said
French.
broad. It's a broad party.
It is a broad party.
All right.
Yeah, you are something else, Gonzo.
Cutting edge.
Rod's party. I'd go to
But
that party.
it's true. That gives them their power, though, to
Andy,
get
just hang
stuff for
tight,
their
buddy. Hang
ward,
tight.
just like a Senate.
Yeah, I think it's going to be put up or shut up time for sure.
There'll be 2 budgets. The Joyce will have the mayor's budget, then they'll have the alderman budget, and perhaps more conservative people will come up with the budget. Like Tommy Castantonis is a Democrat, but he was rather conservative. He would vote to override the tax cap, but there were other times that he didn't.
That's Tommy K, right?
And they negotiate. Joyce Craig put together the budgets. She learned to do under
she's
Mike Lopez.
required to.
Yeah,
the
but
mayor.
she did the budget. She did the 2015 budget that gave Chief Mara and then Chief Willard the 30 extra officers they needed when there was a spice epidemic. Everybody forgets that.
I don't
one,
forget about
which was
that.
the opiate epidemic. Oh yeah.
No, it was
I saw
it was
people.
like 2 separate epidemics.
Yeah, I don't like
2014,
spice.
2014, I walked into the city library where I grew up. We have a great library. I used to live there, and there's some guy stretched out in front of the crapper, It's like, and there was a guy that used to always go to the alderman meetings. He had this, I can't remember his name, Richard something. He was like Glenn R.J. Ouellette, and he sang to me. He had this voice, Hoppy, I think that one. Hey, I think that one's dead, dead. But they revived him with Narcan.
Norm.
Shh, we don't encourage the psychics around here.
I know him.
And
I knew he was going.
So, and then the firemen were there. They brought him back, and they said, "This is the second overdose. This is in 2014.
Yeah.
They had a crisis with homelessness in 1999 and 2000. But, homelessness and the crisis didn't start when Joyce Craig was inaugurated in 2017, unlike Victoria Sullivan.
No, it's
And,
it's always going to be there's going to be we're a city.
A real city. We're the biggest city.
We're
in
the
Northern
biggest city.
New England.
There's always going to be a problem. But again, you got to know, if you're wandering downtown at 2 a.m,
Yeah.
you might run into some shady characters. But it's beautiful out right now.
Oh, yeah, everybody
plenty
comes
of-
downtown.
It's fine. It's not a dangerous
There's
city.
nothing wrong with downtown. Downtown's
No.
awesome.
Now, he can't, he's neutral. But what do you think when you have Joe Lavasser and Victoria Sullivan take a dump on your city, take a dump on students?
If anyone's taking a dump on my city, it's going to be me. Okay?
After a snootful, right?
The
Yes.
thing about
What
that,
dump would you take?
I'm not taking any dumps on
And
my
just in
city.
his
No
pants.
dumps? Okay.
the thing about that though, Joe Kelly Lavasser might do that stuff, but he wouldn't run and be an alderman and put the time in if he didn't love the city.
He's a
Yeah,
narcissist.
and I have to go back to something I've said to
That's
Peter
not
White.
true.
Something I have to say to Peter White on the morning show. If you're a challenger and you think everything's fine, why should someone not vote for the incumbent? You got to state the case for change if you're a challenger. So she's got to say something. And if Victoria was too negative and she was not challenging Craig but challenging the city, that's something you could say. But I mean, if
also
you're not an incumbent, you got to say something.
It was also her second time around.
Ted
And maybe
Getz-
she needed to take another shot.
Yeah.
No,
you
Ted,
know?
no, what she did was beyond the pale. Ted
I've heard that.
It worked though.
Ted
It
Getz
narrowed the
is-
gap.
No, it didn't.
It did narrow the gap
No, it didn't.
from last time.
She was
We
a,
could- we could look
she
that
was
up
a
if you want.
She's a stalking horse.
look it
for
up.
Hit the
Christmas.
numbers.
Let's look the numbers.
She's a cat's paw. She is a. If you know what a cat's paw is, if you're educated, I know. And if you haven't taken any substance,
Yeah, I have a cat.
If she was a stalking horse for Chris Sununu's Senate campaign.
First of all, don't talk about my substance, all right?
Oh, okay.
Second of all, she's the cat's meow, not the cat's
Jesus,
paw.
we need to have this guy spayed.
You know what you
How
are?
much does it cost?
You're
It's too late.
Is it
He's-
spayed or cast? Well, probably spayed
It's
and
too
cast.
late. He's already got two.
You're
He's
Joe
got another one
McConnell's
coming.
water carrier.
He is a visual artist. I lived with one in New York City. It drove me so crazy I joined the army to get away from it. Visual artists are nuts.
And so, would you like the numbers, or are you going to keep on talking about cats?
So whatever.
So last time,
narrowed the gap.
last time, Craig got 11051, and Victoria got 8441. This time, it was Craig got 10228, and Victoria got 9005.
You know
So
why?
it was like
Because
1,000 less for Craig and about
1,000.
600 more for Sullivan.
You
So
know
it
why?
works.
Because people thought Joyce is going to win, and they're sitting up there in Ward 1 and 2, and they don't even. They say, "Oh, I'm not even."
Not
gonna
Ward
vote."
1.
Yeah,
Ward
no.
1 comes
No,
out.
Ward 1
three,
didn't.
not
No,
Ward
Ward
three.
1 didn't come out like it normally does.
Well, let's check the numbers.
I
Ward
came
two.
Let's
out.
check the numbers, Andy.
Let's check the numbers.
My son came
You gonna
out.
come with the
So-
guy with the computer? Right
Last time,
What was it?
Craig got 1,804 in Ward
What'd you get
1.
this time?
This time, she got 1,748.
How you
so
with me
she
now?
got 60 less than last time in Ward
Yeah.
1.
So they did come out.
So it was about the same.
See, because when we were in the poll, you're hearing all this hearsay from people.
It was close. The big thing I think that hurt Sullivan was they didn't come out as much in Ward 6 and Ward 8. Dante Scala with the UNH was retweeting my stuff as I was going around the polls. and he
Who's
was saying-
Dante Scala?
Dante, he's a
Professor.
professor of political science at UNH, and he was retweeting my stuff and he was saying, "Oh, it's down from last time in terms
See,
of
that's what we
turnout."
were hearing.
Yeah, so the turnout wasn't. It was less
wasn't-
in Ward 6 and Ward 8. Those are the big places where Republicans have to drop the numbers if they want to win in Manchester.
Less than Ward 10, too.
Yeah.
Where geographically is that?
Ward 6 is like the east side near Massabesic, near
That's what Joyce was really from.
near they live at McLaughlin School, so like near the highway.
Okay.
And Ward 8 is airport.
That's
small New
my
Hampshire.
that's my future
Now,
home
doesn't
ward.
that make sense
Future
that
home
Ward
ward.
1 would
Yeah,
come
take on
out
Led Zeppelin.
in the numbers they did compared to that?
They're usually the big turnout.
They're kind of invested in the city. They got they're there. When you buy a house in the
How's
North
he
End,
taking
you're
this
there.
all?
You're there for.
They
long
come
term.
out and vote, and they came out and
A
voted.
lot of
this time,
renters
again.
are in the other. I can see why less people come out and vote because they don't really care about the city as much as people in Ward 1. I think.
If 100,
Or Ward 3.
if 91 more people came out and voted against Lavasser, Goonan would be the ultimate large. But There's a saying: if the dog hadn't stopped to take a on the track, he would have won the race, right?
He would have.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Gonzo. A few weeks ago at the ZBA, I don't know if you saw this, but Gerard was talking about that Wellington Hill proposal.
Right.
They're looking for the variances, and one thing Gerard said is they were wanting to build high density stuff at the top of the hill there near the hospital. And he said these types of housings brings in transient people. We don't want that type. We want families because transient people are going to leave and they're not going to invest in the community.
And they don't vote. Like Ward 12 has a lot of apartments, and it was hard to get people to vote.
That one would be in Ward 2. So.
And they don't like the city either. So many people are like, I hate Manchester. It's like, wow, well, you really don't live here then. Like, you're just coming through.
I can't leave.
I love Manchester.
I love Manchester. with all my
Okay,
heart.
enough of this. I don't want
love
to
you,
get sugar
Manchester.
diabetes. Can we say that? No, is that
It's
I don't know.
diabetes.
diabetes?
Just,
No wonder why I couldn't.
is that why you lost every race you ran in? Because you stopped and took a...
No, because I was hexed, but we won't get into that.
You were hexed.
Yeah.
Ed Sapienza hexed you when you ran.
I
for
never ran against
Deeds.
Ed Sapienza.
What do you run for?
What
It was
Ran for
Registrar
state
of
rep.
Deeds, right?
You
Or
were
Registrar
not
of
that
No,
time. No.
I ran for county attorney because I was too stupid to run for register of deeds.
Are you an attorney?
Do you want? No, you don't have to be. That was
wants one.
Ed Sapienza's not an attorney.
Well, he ran for Registrar of Deeds.
He was
not
the
attorney.
only person that knew that it was it was vacant. I was talking to Barbara Shaw at the State House. She says, "My God, Ed Sapienza," and we were all saying, "Everybody, oh, if we'd known, we'd have thrown our name in because it's $60,000 a year."
How would they not
I
know?
would've
It
done
happens
that.
every 2 years.
Because nobody thinks about the Register of Deeds. County government is.
It
they
doesn't
have-
make sense at this point.
You're not. You've never. See, this is the difference between like
It's-
being in a
in-
war.
if in
and,
other states, it totally does. But here in New Hampshire, it's like, well, I don't really.
They have a
understand the point.
$200 million budget, and nobody gives a damn about it. You know, and then I ran for Hillsborough County Commissioner.
I thought you were going to win. I really did.
I didn't think I was going to win
Awfully
that. Tony
proud of you.
Pappas.
Yeah, it's
That's like a
tough one.
Clayton
She's an
name,
institution.
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I didn't
I don't
even
know if I
it
can
was a
beat
girl
Pappas.
until Hopwood lost. I was like,
Jeez, and
Well,
I
it's
not only lost, I
T.O.N.I..
got curb stomped.
but
Oh yeah, she's wonderful. I love
thought it
Tony.
was close.
Yeah, and she's a terrible county commissioner. She's responsible for that jail where people die.
Wasn't it close though? Were you close?
That jail's very
No, not at
cold
all.
over there.
55, 45.
I thought you were killing it at first. I thought
No
you were
way.
like,
I try. You can't run a campaign of ideas in Manchester.
And you
know?
can't have
There's too much to do.
spray painted signs aren't a good sign. That
Come
you're
on,
gonna win
I didn't have a
They're
damn.
hand-
I didn't have any money.
They're handmade signs.
Here I'm asking, hey, help me make some signs. Sure, John. And then you get thrown out of the friggin' art space. They're spray painting signs. Where's Gonzo?
Well,
Gonzo, I thought
I'm a
they
man
were
of-
lovely
I'm a man
signs,
of
dude.
morals, and I stood up for someone, and I shouldn't have.
You know, I just getting back to people that love the city. Ted Gatsis didn't endorse Victoria Sullivan. As much as I went against Ted Gatsis, as much as anybody, Danny O'Neill calls me the giant killer. You know, some people say I had something to do with the 2017, but I'll never doubt Ted
You.
Gatsis loved the city. You ever wait until you get sued, buddy,
I'm not.
Yeah,
gonna
wait
get
till you get
sued.
sued. Keep
and
it up.
find out how the people of Manchester stand behind you. I didn't have liability insurance then.
This rope gets unhitched to your pole the second.
And the thing is, I never doubted Ted Gatsis loves Manchester, but I don't think Victoria Sullivan or Joe Lavasser do. That's my
I
opinion.
disagree with
I
that.
think Joe does.
I do,
but-
but you're not down there in the gutter, you know,
Then why'd you get
I'm
so
at
where
the-
they
mad?
fight.
I'm in the City Hall Aldermanic Chambers, so that's where I see it. So that's all I can talk about.
Do you actually go and write there now?
Yeah.
He does.
Oh yeah.
You're out there a little desk.
Andy doesn't.
Well, I don't.
Andy doesn't
I've
suck.
moved out of the little desk. Those at the
Where do
front
you- where
row.
are you
There's
now?
literally little desks. If you haven't seen
Oh,
the
yeah,
Aldermanic.
the two little-
Yeah, those things are weird, but
Yeah,
I
Rich
go
is
up to the
always-
I go up to the balcony now.
Yeah, it's great
So-
up there because you got that little shelf.
It's just well, they don't have the shelf up there, but it's just easier.
And when Gerard was up there, I'd start taking pictures of him, and on his like radio show or his show, he says, "I bet he's going to publish unflattering pictures of me because
Who?
he's bald." Rich Gerard.
No,
Because he's
who did he
bald.
say that
Hey, I'm
about?
bald.
You said that about me?
No.
He said that about me.
Oh, okay.
That I was going to publish
I tried to
unflattering
be
pictures.
fair about him. So.
Yeah,
Well,
you're
one of
fair.
the, one
I
of the
think
great
Andy's
things.
the most fair person in the game right
you
now.
can't say anything nice about Joe Kelly Lavasser without him getting upset, though.
Okay.
He's an asshole.
Yeah, I know.
I actually wrote an article. Joe Kelly is the #1 a-hole in Manchester. and
Well,
he
I
is.
will say for a while.
Liar.
I don't know if you knew this, but he thought I was stalking him.
That's a standard piece of crap.
It was just like it took Hirschman he had to tell him like, no, that guy's a journalist. He's just doing his job. He's not trying to make you look bad.
He knew who you were.
Well, he doesn't look like the picture on the page.
Anyone doesn't know who Andy Sylvia is.
Did you see
grow
him
up.
in makeup? They said he was out with theatrical makeup on. Maybe he thought it was Halloween.
I have
That's
no idea
fine.
about
I mean,
that, so.
it's
You
2021.
didn't see him
you
with
can wear
the makeup?
Get with the times, man.
I don't really care.
Dude, where were you? You know, here you are. You can't even come out and help anybody. At least you voted.
I will
Yeah,
say
at
this:
least
I
you voted.
wish he and other people on the board
Right.
just talked less, so I could go home earlier. That's all I'd say.
Oh,
I don't care about what I don't
Joe
agree
Keller.
or disagree. I just wish they'd just get to the point.
Joe Kellervesser, Bill Cash called him the actor. That didn't happen in his day. And with a new chairman of the board, you know, I knew Bill Cash very well. He's like my uncle practically. And under him as chairman of the board, Levasseur wouldn't have be allowed to do this. I remember when I first met you. You were exasperated. You didn't.
Well, that's because he thought I was stalking him and I wasn't allowed to do my job.
You didn't tell me that part. He's just, they always come up with that stalking thing. Tammy Simmons said that about me. Remember that Kimberly Moran?
I've never had trouble with Tammy Simmons either. But
Well, you're not over in Ward 10. You're not fighting, you know, her over the turf.
okay, I guess.
Dude, you know, politics is not for the faint of heart.
I guess not. Good thing I'm just a journalist and not.
He's
in that.
literally a political journalist.
I'm just neutral. I'm just here to observe.
I don't think
Well,
he
we
was
could have a whole show about that.
hitting it off very well. I don't think Andy likes you right now.
No, I like everybody.
Yeah,
Andy is
that's what he has to
Andy.
say.
Thank you.
Andy is Andy.
Andy
Thank
is
you.
doing
He's
his
old
best.
school.
I'm old school. We'll have to
And
have
you're
you.
right. You're right.
Yeah, and we'll have to have you in our fantasy football league next year.
That would be lovely.
I don't know.
There's no spots.
No spot. Oh, we could have Kyle Heavey's friend kicked out.
Or the guy who's not going to
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's true. We got to get you going again.
Yeah.
Either him or him will be doing a show soon. You can come on and talk about fantasy
I
football.
know.
I have to keep him in
Kyle's
the
in
sport.
first place
I'm in
now.
first place.
Yeah,
I have a
you
huge
got it.
brain.
Who's controlling the money?
There's no money.
There is
but
no.
next time
That's.
I'll
I
do mine.
tried. I
Yeah,
tried.
we tried.
There's a funny story.
I have a
I'm a
crippling
commissioner.
gambling addiction as well, so it's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we can have like M&Ms or something or whatever.
Okay. I just wanted like a tree. Yeah, any kind of
Pride.
incentive.
Let's get back to Jon Hopwood's political career.
It's over.
Are you ever going to run for anything ever again?
What if I'm your
Only-
running mate?
No.
You're not going to run for alderman, say.
That's something I regret. I went down
Oh, you did
to
that
City
too?
Hall, what was it, 2 years ago, to run for a school commissioner. And they said,
Slaughtered.
well, I got $50, which, you know, the money I get from the Army is not.
We got army
nothing.
money.
And I said, I think I'll run for Alderman at Large and a educational platform. And I saw Joyce Craig the next day. She's known me since 2015 campaign. It's like she just looks at me with that look, you know, that you've effed up again. And I said, Joyce, I wish I could get my $50 back, but they don't give you refunds.
No, Joyce gives me that look every time. And
She does you?
I get
Yeah.
that look too from the street sweepers.
Who, you know,
They should follow me around.
I can never, these people that drive that street sweeper.
I don't know. This is a man with a leaf blower
union
following
position.
Gonzo around.
He just follows me around. It's like, dude.
Well, leaf blower is different than a sweet.
He looks at me like Ben Franklin on the 100.
John, he's
that look
everywhere.
that he had like
He
the,
finds Gonzo. It's incredible.
I know what
That's
you're
weird.
Can you give me
He
my
might be a spy.
personal
No, it's his desk, bro.
I'm Sergeant.
Your
Hoffman.
body
I'm
language
commanding
is
it.
yeah,
aggressive.
put a little respect
Hey,
on
I
his
had to
name.
run a
right?
barracks. I had to run a platoon.
Did you run a platoon, Michael?
No, I haven't.
Not one
I
single
don't believe
platoon.
in war.
He'd be the
though.
belle of the battalion, you know.
Yeah. Oh, that mustache is incredible, though.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No, I like it a lot.
That obscene graffiti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but there's also there's a conspiracy going around. Some people are just writing Gonzo around, and it's not
I was
him.
curious about. I've
It's not
seen
him.
Gonzo
I know
graffiti
about
all over
it.
the
Yeah.
city.
It
It's
ain't-
not at the decap or B-dub level.
Maybe he should be arrested.
I would never
Oh.
do that because
Yeah, I
know who
couldn't
that
believe
is
that
as
it was
well.
Gonzo, but
because this is how I sign my name,
yeah.
and that's not how I sign it. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have your back,
One
bro.
thing
the pratfall. Oh, let's go with the four shot because you know I'm
Yeah,
fat
let's do the
because
four
of the
shot.
cortisol.
Yeah, can you
covering
cue in
it.
on the
I
mustard
like
stand?
the wonkiness. though.
Is that mustard? I hope.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but
Well, you know, it was free food.
Hey,
last night.
how about this? Shout out to Ben Dion.
Congratulations,
family
Ben.
of the WMNH family.
Yeah,
has his
he
own
did a
show.
good job.
Well, he's
Crushed
more than that.
Victoria's husband, to be honest. I
He
thought.
what? That was
he-
Victoria's husband?
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't really
The
campaign that much.
guitarist?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
I couldn't hear back from him. I
But
tried to reach
hey,
out to him.
you know what? Good job, Ben.
He probably didn't get the emails.
She could have just. He could have won on her name alone, though. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's going to win on her name alone when she's a loser. Jesus Christ, Gonzo. Stop kissing everybody's ass.
You never kissed my ass.
Oh, well, I'll give him the credit for that.
I mean, Gary Hamer ran on his wife's name.
That was Hamer. He's got his name.
That's
He outranks her.
From what I heard, Gary worked hard too.
That's his.
so.
Oh,
that's
Gary
it.
worked
They're
very
German.
diligently.
They're
Very
German.
Yeah,
diligently.
That's
They
her
are
joke,
Germans.
actually.
They are efficient. Gary'd be a great vice
Gary's
chair
great.
of that school board.
Gary's great.
Because his wife Heidi is is like a dynamo, and he's had to deal with me all his life, so he knows how to handle difficult people.
Yeah.
I mean, the board of school, all those people would be like nothing.
And they bought me a drink.
Shoo 'em away. It's fine.
This is nothing compared to Hopwood or Heidi.
You buy me a drink, and I'll always remember it, Miss Heidi Hamer. I appreciate that. At Peter's
Where was
birthday
wait,
party.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Drank for free
That
the
was
whole
it.
night.
And she gave me chili yesterday.
And chili.
Oh, there's always
She
a great
forced it
spread.
on me almost. It was just like, okay, I'll have it.
Can I ask you a
I
quick
couldn't
question?
say no.
Were there beans in the chili?
There were beans in the chili.
So, Andy,
It was
how,
yesterday, man.
No, it's
How is
fine.
it-
It's fine.
how is this playing?
No,
out?
I don't like beans in my chili.
What
that's
is
all.
okay?
With all
shut
the winners,
up.
with all the winners, how are the voting gonna go? Is it gonna be pro mayor or not?
So on the Aldermanic board right now, there's out of the 14 seats, 11
You're welcome.
are probably pro mayor. 9 if you discount Tony Sapienza and Barbara Shaw. They've been kind of swing votes in the past.
Tony though is a
Yeah,
reliable,
they're generally
thoughtful person.
usually they vote with the mayor, but they're on the fence. So,
Barbara is
So
in.
this worked out good for her.
it-
Okay,
it-
shut
this was
up,
about as good as it possibly could have gotten.
Good.
We're taking him out.
Well, I got a phone call.
Barbara Shaw's in a conservative ward, so she has to.
Who wants to talk
She
to
has to.
Hi, welcome to Ward 13.
Dude.
Who's this?
Dude, that's it. You know?
Dudes, chill.
It's my show now.
Who's
Hi,
on it? Shut
welcome
up.
to Ward 13. How are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by. We will return to our regularly scheduled program momentarily. Please stay tuned. We expect to resume normal broadcasting shortly.
Victoria Sullivan was photographed with men armed with assault weapons during the aftermath of the Black Lives Matter candlelight vigil held in Stark Park on June 2nd, 2020. The vigil, which attracted 700 people to bear witness to the cause of racial justice, was peaceful, but a small group of people who attended the event eventually caused disturbances on Elm and South Willow Streets. There had been fears of mob violence in the days leading up to the vigil. In the photo, Victoria Sullivan is standing next to a man dressed in camouflage-patterned, military-style fatigue pants, who's holding a AR-15. Other men in the photograph sport camouflage clothing. The location is 932 South Willow Street, at the edge of the parking lot, in front of Mattress Firm. Chipotle's Mexican Grill can be seen in the background. Twilight seems to be approaching. Sunset was at 8:19 p.m. on June 2nd. The protesters didn't reach Chipotle's until 11:47 p.m., according to a Manchester Police Department tweet. It seems to me that Victoria Sullivan was standing by a group that was being photographed. From the angle of her face, which doesn't look directly at the camera, she might not have realized she was being photographed. Her face is beaming at the armed men. Beaming. Reportedly, Victoria Sullivan had called for an 8 p.m. curfew on her Facebook page during the time frame that BLM Manchester was holding peaceful protests. There's no evidence of that on Sullivan's Facebook page, as posts made by her between November 2019, when she first lost to Joyce Craig, and November 2020 have been deleted. Victoria Sullivan has wiped the slate clean, apparently. Sources say that Sullivan has denied to a Manchester politician that she was with armed men that day. Since Governor Chris Sununu positions himself as a moderate on race issues, Sullivan may have been advised to consign the bulk of her 2020 Facebook Governor Sununu endorsed Sullivan for Orwellian memory last week. In the days preceding the vigil, social media posts by some racial justice advocates had discussed staging an after-event protest on June 2nd that would march down Elm Street and onto South Willow Street. South Willow Street is a miracle mile studded with businesses, large, medium, and small. Within easy walking distance of the South Willow Street Miracle Mile are the big box stores that attracted the wrath of protesters in other cities and had been burned to the ground. The social media buzz became incendiary when an out-of-towner, Daniel Zarin of Ashland, New Hampshire, posted a call for violent action on Facebook. The poster was arrested and the Facebook post was taken down. Alderman-at-Large Joe Kelly Lavasser was criticized for keeping the call for violence current by posting the original provocation on his Facebook page and for playing his usual role of populist reactionary demagogue. In his posts, Lavasser expressed his concern that a riot was imminent. Lavasser's online demagoguery was joined by Ward 8 Alderman Mike Porter, who called for using a plow truck to deal with the situation, suggesting to many that the city engage in violent retaliation against the protesters, though Porter denied it. Their behavior was deemed racist by many. 3 days after the Elm and South Willow Street disturbances, Mayor Joyce Craig and 7 of their 12 fellow aldermen called for their resignation. The law office of Joe Kelly Lavasser, Esquire, is located at 396 South Willow Street, which was on the route of the proposed after-event march. The law office of Joe Kelly Lavasser, Esquire, is located at 396 South Willow Street, which was on the route of the proposed after-event march circulating on social media. It went unmolested on the night of June 2nd. Held to remember George Floyd and to call for racial and social justice, the June 2nd BLM Candlelight Vigil in Stark Park happened 3 days after a peaceful protest march for racial justice in Manchester. Kicking off at Veterans Park, that protest attracted 1,000 people. Some of that day's protesters staged a peaceful sit-in at the Manchester Police Department's headquarters. That protest was marred when a white man driving a truck flying a Donald Trump flag accosted the protesters, aiming a firearm at them. The man and his son were arrested by police. Queen City Police and the National Guard were out in force on June 2nd due to fears of mob violence. 15 people wound up arrested on disorderly conduct and rioting charges. Armed white men, including Hawaiian-shirted Boogaloo Boys, had taken up positions on South Willow Street in anticipation of a potentially violent riot taking place after the BLM vigil at Stark Park. The stated motive of some of the armed men was to protect the property of businesses on South Willow Street, apparently with deadly force if necessary. A pseudonymous Boogaloo Boy said that their aims were property protection and protecting protesters. The Boogaloo movement has been described as anarcho-libertarian, with members interested in sparking a violent rebellion to destroy the United States. None of the armed men and others, all men, in the Victoria Sullivan photograph appear to be Boogaloo Boys. No news sources quote Sullivan or any of the people she is with about their motives for being there. Victoria Sullivan is holding a cell phone in the June 2nd photo. All of the men who she is with seem to be white. 4 of them were dressed in military-style jackets. All the assault weapons seem to be versions of the AR-15, the civilian version of the military's M16, M4 assault rifle. The uniformity of weapons and military garb suggests to me that they may be members of an anti-government paramilitary militia group. In a Concord Monitor op-ed piece, Granite State Progress Executive Director Zandra Rice Hawkins criticized Governor Chris Sununu for encouraging the militia movement in New Hampshire. She pointed to his endorsement of former Free State Project president and FSP Board of Directors member Carla Garricky for State Senate. Garricky is the president of the Foundation for New Hampshire Independence, a secessionist group. The South African-born Garricky, who won an immigration visa to the United States via lottery, seeks to show her gratitude to America by making the Granite State an independent country. She apparently is a close ally of Victoria Sullivan and was at her side during the mayoral recount. According to Hawkins, Garricky has attended anti-mask protests staged by Reopen.